Welcome to Fandom, Shmandom. Fandom podcast that covers everything you love and more. I'm Sam Williams, and for this mini-season, we have a new guest host joining us. You may remember her from our little history lesson about the CIA's MK Ultra project on our Stranger Things podcast. It's historian extraordinaire, Miss Liz Wade Stickle. Hello, Liz. Please tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm a history teacher at the high school level. Last time I read the Odyssey was 10th grade.
Yes.
Which is the grade that I teach. My favorite book is a tie between Dune and Babel.
Nice. Oh, excellent books. Excellent books.
I think literature is important because I crave a more literate world, and it's a pathway into knowledge that doesn't have to just be fact. Greek mythology too. Any kind of storytelling gives us a window into society that is, again, more effective for your average person than just fact. And so it contextualizes history in a much more interesting way.
Sweet. Awesome. Yeah, I for those listeners who don't know, I am also a teacher at the high school level. I am an English teacher, and I've taught the Odyssey. I also studied a bit of mythical text, both in my graduate school and when I was at Oxford in the summer of 25, which was awesome. We are doing this because the Odyssey movie by one director, Mr. Christopher Nolan, who both of us have conflicting feelings about, but also very much love some of his movies. Dark Knight is absolutely in my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Versus I wasn't the biggest fan of Interstellar. And you didn't like particularly Dunkirk.
Yeah, the fact that it was nominated for best sound mixing and not just loudest sound mixing does continue to be an enigma to me.
It was loud best. That's amazing.
And also, it happened the same year as Darkest
Hour, which was
where they actually told the story of Dunkirk.
Yeah, certainly.
I would not have known what was happening
if you hadn't watched that.
If I hadn't watched Darkest Hour.
Gary Oldman.
What?
Oh yes. But in general, I see him as a great filmmaker. I think that he does a lot of things very well, and I think his adaptations have been very good. Mainly the Dark Knight trilogy, which Batman Begins rocks, and Dark Knight rocks, and there isn't a third one, even though it's a trilogy. So that's the thing.
That's how I remember it.
Yeah. Anyway, so that movie is coming out. That movie is starring, controversially or not, Matt Damon.
Of course, that movie being The Odyssey.
The Odyssey. Sorry, yes. Odysseus is Matt Damon. Zendaya is playing Athena. We've got Edward. What the heck is his name? He's the vampire dude. Now he's Batman.
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson is playing, we'll get there. He's playing one of the main big bad suitors, and we've got Telemachus being played by not Andrew Garfield and not Tobey Maguire, but don't do this to me, I pointed to
Tom
you.
Holland.
Thank you. Tom Holland. So we essentially have read the Odyssey so that you do not have to. Which means that we are going to launch into a little bit of a different format for Fandom Shmandom. We're going to talk about the characters that are important to know for each of the books. Now, the Odyssey is in essentially 3 different sections. Books 1 through 4, books 5 through 12, and then 12 through 24. So today, we're actually going to be artificially articulating, you take that AI, about the Odyssey, books 1 through 4, also known as the Telemachy.
So, Telemachy, like Telemachus.
Yep.
Like, it's very Telemachy. Telemachy traditionally is the term applied to the first 4 books because, as you can guess, they're from the perspective of Telemachus after the Iliad. His dad should have been coming home.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't.
Odysseus be out there somewhere.
Odysseus be out there Odysseying.
And Telemachus has not met his father.
Yeah. No.
He was in womb when Odysseus takes off to do the Trojan War.
Yeah,
then gets lost.
He was still cooking.
Cooking.
So these particular chapters are you can almost think of them as like an intro to the Odyssey, because you don't get any of the adventure yet. You get Telemachus yearning for some information about his father, and feeling the absence of this father figure.
The Odyssey can be quite confusing. It's a lot of names, and a lot of mythology that if you are not familiar with any Greek characters, you can get lost very quickly. So Homer, who is either a composite of a great many different storytellers, which is more likely than not, or Homer, the guy who wrote essentially 8 epic Greek poems, which we only have 2 surviving of, the Iliad and the Odyssey. He essentially uses really well-known characters, the Greek gods. That would be like if a author today was like, you know what, the most 12 famous superheroes are now all gods, and Mount Washington in New Hampshire, shout out New Hampshire, love you. And it was like, Batman is the god of all, and like these just common characters that everybody should know. Now, it just turns out that this is also wrapped up in religion, so the Odyssey, like most literature during pretty much every era until the printing press comes out, is religious in nature with a specific story for a specific purpose in order to educate or to teach. And so we are going to help you guys out with some of the names and some of the background stories. We're going to start with the king of the gods, Zeus, and his kingdom of Olympus, or his palace on the top of Mount Olympus. So Zeus is the last son, the last-born son of the king of the Titans, Cronus. So before the Greek gods, the beings that ruled the earth were called Titans.
Essentially elemental.
Yeah, elemental, maybe except for Atlas, who just is like the holder of the world. The element of why the earth...
Gravity.
God, I want to sing Defying Atlas. I think I'll try. And then the earth just plummets because he's no longer holding it up. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, yeah, they're elemental in nature. Cronus is the big boss of them. And essentially, long story short, Cronus' wife, instead of letting Cronus eat his baby because of a prophecy saying that his children will kill him, she swaps out Zeus for a stone. So Cronus thinks he's eaten his baby Zeus, and instead Zeus gets to grow up. And then it turns out that stomachs don't work the same way for Titans, and so Zeus eventually has this big war with the Titans and releases all of his 5 siblings, including Hera, Poseidon, Hades. And the gods have a fight with the Titans, and the Titans lose, and the gods reign, and that's how we start Greek mythology. So Zeus is the king of the gods. His word is law, kind of. He is the god of sky and weather, which is exceptionally important at this time because farming, just as it does now, is the main way that everybody stays alive. And it's a lot more weather-based at that time than it is today, although like any farmer will tell you weather still key. Turns out water really necessary. But so being god of the weather is like being god of all life everywhere because of the need to grow things and eat things. So he resides at the top of Mount Olympus, which is sort of a mountain that's always obscured by clouds. It's very easy to be like, oh yeah, the gods live up there. We never see the top of it, and then it's exposed for a day, and everyone's like, we just saw nothing. He also rules over the 12 Olympian gods. So those are like, there's lots of demigods and like little tiny smaller gods and lesser gods and like children of Titans out there. But essentially, the council of the gods are the 12 Olympians. That includes Zeus, his 2 brothers, Hades and Poseidon, his sister and wife, because, Hera, his older sister Hestia, who in a different myth ends up resigning her position to Dionysus to preserve peace, which is like all she's about. And then Zeus's 5 children, Apollo, Artemis, Athena, Hermes, and Ares. And then, of course, the primordial goddess Aphrodite, who everyone knows from emerging from a clan. And that's Zeus.
The family that is the most relevant to the Odyssey are, right, his brothers and his favorite child. So Hades, he is the brother of Zeus, lord of the underworld. It is a less loaded kind of underworld than we think of typically in the U.S. And countries where like Christianity kind of is the dominant narrative. So it's not hell. It's where the dead people end.
Everybody equal status. You could be super rich and you could be super poor. You could be really good. You could be really bad.
It's the afterlife, right?
That's where you go.
It's just where you go. So he is not so much a devil, not an evil guy. He just is he's more of a Grim Reaper kind of character. Obviously there are still like even more Grim Reaper like characters in Greek mythology that get you to where you need to go in the underworld.
Yeah.
Boatmen and such.
Dogs.
But dogs.
Dogs. 3-headed dogs.
But Hades is more in a afterlife managerial position than in the position to like punish people.
Yeah.
He's also not Zeus's biggest fan. He didn't love getting voluntold to run this part of existence.
Yeah. It's not a happy job that he has. And then we've got the other brother who is named Poseidon. And there's a really big rivalry between the 3 brothers, but no bigger than Poseidon and Zeus. Poseidon is constantly trying to usurp Zeus's authority. He's also the father of the Cyclops, who's a big part of this story, and that will be coming up later. So that's important. Please note that Cyclops equals Poseidon's baby. Poseidon and Hades both feel, equal or better than Zeus, and don't always follow his will. And as you will see, Poseidon is extremely upset with the titular character.
Yeah, the trio also. It's an intro. One, it's very much a 3 brothers dynamic of like 2 of them are ultra competitive, and thinking about what they both stand for, right? God of the sea versus God of the sky and weather. Like, you could argue that one of them, like, they could be of equal importance when we think about like agriculture and the ability to like travel.
Yeah,
they both have a huge impact on it. So if we are giving them then personalities, they would always be at odds. Versus the underworld kind of just being like Eeyore.
Eeyore, and then also
just bummed and doing his job.
Sometimes I bring you seasons, and I really like winter because I'm depressed.
And in spring, my wife leaves me.
Yeah, so I just add the whole world sucks.
Bummer. Then we have Athena, Zeus's favorite child. She's the goddess of wisdom, the goddess of war. But think war as in like art of war, not like the passion or the violence of war. She is the strategic one. So she also then is the goddess of practical reason. She protects the city of Athens. I wonder why. And she's also goddess of handcrafts.
Which I love.
Yeah.
I just
throw that in there.
All these things. Also, when your grandma knits a scarf.
Also yarn.
That's also yarn.
But she is also Odysseus' biggest advocate to the gods. She is often getting him out of messes that he and his pride get him into.
Yes, absolutely. As myth has it, Zeus's first wife Metis, who everyone at this point is like, who? Because Hera is the wife. No, Zeus's first wife, Metis, became pregnant, as one does when they are the wife of the king of gods. Zeus was warned that the child that she's pregnant with would be more powerful, more wise, more thoughtful, more intelligent than him. So Zeus did as anyone else would do, was super proud, got her to college graduation, got her to a PhD, watched her flourish. No. He decided to swallow his wife. Like whole. Like just like
Ow. Kirby's hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Metis dies, essentially. But Zeus develops a headache. And popping out of his forehead sprang Athena, fully formed, in armor and everything. So some would say that Athena has no mother. Hera certainly is not. Somewhere in this mix is Aphrodite, who is important to know mainly because of the Trojan War references in the Odyssey. Essentially, Aphrodite is the goddess of sexual love, beauty, goddess of seafaring. So, like, if you want to travel to sea, you need both Poseidon and Aphrodite's blessing. And she's essentially the goddess of fertility and marriage.
Then we have Hera, arguably a tragic god if there ever was one. So there is some rivalry between these three goddesses, Hera, Aphrodite, and Athena, and they've all fought one another through, of course, the famous proxy war, the Trojan War.
Proxy for the gods, real for the Greeks.
Real for the people.
And the Trojans.
So Hera, as mentioned before, is Zeus' sister wife, and also doesn't completely blindly follow Zeus's philandering self all the time. She is not a fan of Zeus, I'm gonna go ahead and say. It's also important to note during this time, for the whole of the story, but also for Hera, that marriage at this point in history is very much a political or power-based union, and then if you get love out of it, that's an awesome bonus. So she is not really working with a bonus here.
my brother husband done be powerful.
He do be king. So the Iliad actually starts with this competition between the three of them. Aphrodite, unrelated to Zeus, either through a marriage bond or just relation period. Athena, Zeus's asexually produced daughter. The of Zeus girl.
Yeah.
And Hera, wife of Zeus, Athena's stepmother, and also her aunt.
Yeah. It's odd. So this rivalry essentially starts off the Trojan War. The three goddesses go to this guy named Paris. They say, which of us is most beautiful? He chooses Aphrodite, and Aphrodite, great, I will get you the hottest person there is, Helen. That's Helen who's already married? Yeah. And that causes a whole big shebang, which...
Poor Hera goes into this interaction being like, would you still love me if I was a worm?
Yeah.
And Paris is like, ew.
No.
So Aphrodite.
Oh my gosh. Is that where the trend, would you still love me if I was a worm, comes from? No, okay. You're referencing it as a thing.
I come from the trend.
No. I come from the trend. Look at me. I come from the trend now. So now we'll guide you into the non-gods that will help you understand the first book of the Odyssey. Odysseus and his kingdom of Ithaca. So this is not the first time, if you are a Homer fan, where we've met...
For you Homer heads out there.
For you Homers out there. This is not the first time that we've met Odysseus. He is the hero or the conniving trickster, depending on how you see it, of the Trojan War. He's the man who came up with the Trojan horse idea. He is the king of the kingdom of Ithaca, which is a really small island off the west side of Greece. It's part of the Ionian Islands in the Ionian Sea of the Mediterranean. So he has one of the farthest kingdoms to get to by boat, because you have to go all the way around the Greek peninsula and flip over to the west side, versus the Troy is somewhere in current-day Turkey. So you're mainly an east-facing front out of the Greeks.
Then we have Calypso and her island of Ogygia.
Which I'm going to say right now, by the way.
I looked it up. I found the the International Phonetic Alphabet spelling of it.
Yeah.
So if there's any issues with this translation,
take it up with the IPA.
I argue with your mama. I don't.
We're doing our best here. We love you all. Please listen still. Mwah.
So Calypso is a nymph. So nymphs are this large class of quote unquote inferior male divinities. So they're not immortal. Female? Did I not say female?
Female.
Well, there you go. Inferior female divinities. They're not immortal. They live for a long time though. And they're associated with like natural growth and fertility. So she is one of many very very interested, really fascinated immortal men. So Calypso is also a remnant of the Titan era. So her father, the Titan Atlas, she sides with him during that Titan war that takes them all down. She obviously lives through it. Zeus does not take kindly to people who side with
the losers.
Titans who try to eat him.
That man tried to eat me!
Zeus is notoriously petty. So he exiles her to this island of Ogygia. And so when we start the Odyssey, once we get past these Telemachus chapters, Odysseus has been trapped on the island with her for 7 years.
Yeah. We also have Penelope and her dilemma. So Penelope is Odysseus's wife. She is the daughter of Icarus of Sparta and a nymph, Paraboa. So she's got this like sort of demigod qualityness to her. She has a great fortitude. She's great resilience. And yet at the same time, she is incredibly filled with grief and sadness that Odysseus has been gone. It's been nearly 2 decades since he left for the Trojan War, and nearly a decade since the Trojan War has been over. So where is he? Well, she also has this big dilemma of suitors. More and more men have been showing up, clamoring for her hand in marriage because they want to be the king of Ithaca. She's the queen. We need a ruler. We pick you. But no, she has remained faithful to Odysseus even after all this time.
Yeah, so again, that like combination of love is this great bonus that she experiences for Odysseus, but that marriage is this political business agreement that these suitors are very much entering into with the power in mind. And then again, like, well, Penelope's kind of fine. That works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then of course we have Telemachus. Poor sweet half orphan. He is his 4 chapters are very much centered around his daddy issues.
Where my dad
at? He's the son of Odysseus. He does not know his dad except through war stories of him, knowing peripherally of his father's heroism and character and legacy, but not having experienced it himself. He's beginning to become a man.
Yeah,
he is
20 years.
Yeah,
years, 19 years, somewhere
that's about
in
when
there.
it starts. He is favored and guided by Athena as well. Athena apparently appreciates the bloodline. Yeah, loves the bloodline. And he is tired of these dudes camping out in his living room trying to sleep with his mom.
Hey, I want to bang your mom, by the way.
Over it.
I'm done.
Wrong
honestly
Greek story.
Would be me.
Get out of here. So he is really determined for many reasons. Not only his heart and the absence of his father, but I actually need a man of the house, please.
Yes.
To rid us of these guys.
The plaguey
They're
men.
So aggro. I want my home back.
I want my home back. Yes. That is Telemachus in a nutshell.
So, at the beginning of book 1, start where you will. Thus begins the Odyssey in BC's version of a voiceover. Homer asks the muse, aka goddess of poetry, music, inspiration, to sing to him about Odysseus and all that he has been up to.
So we start in what's a literary term called in medias res, which essentially means to start in the middle. And the Odyssey is famous for many reasons, and this literary tool is one of them. It starts us not at the beginning of the story, right? We don't go, okay, so Battle of Troy over. Odysseus starts sailing. No, we're in the middle of what is essentially Odysseus's return to home. This is exceptionally important to the entire story's structure. So we don't start right where the Iliad left off, but with Athena asking the gods to release Odysseus from his captive status with the nymph Calypso, a woman of great beauty who beds Odysseus regularly.
Back on the farm, or in this case, the island Ithaca, many suitors, as you mentioned before, are clamoring for the hand of Penelope, Odysseus' wife. Again, it has been nearly 2 decades since Odysseus went off to fight in the Trojan War, and nearly 10 years since that war ended. So where's Odysseus? If he's not dead, what's up? The suitors demand daily that Penelope has to choose a new husband so the kingdom of Ithaca can have a ruler.
For years, these men have been taking advantage of the ancient Greek philosophy of xenia, which essentially translates to guest friendship. Basically, Zeus was the protectorate of hospitality, and so all Greeks had to welcome strangers as friends unless they proved to be enemies. Mistreating guests would be considered a major sin, like committing theft, adultery, or murder in the Bible. However, the guest is also required to reciprocate this xenia. Yes, they could accept offers of food, bathing, safe lodging, but they were supposed to be gracious, respectful, and not overstay their welcome.
As a part of that reciprocal relationship as well, you are also expected to be a good host in the future.
Right.
So they are not showing themselves to be good future kings.
Not these guys.
That they can't respect even this kind of basic social expectation. So they have long overstayed their welcome, and with quote unquote no one to tell them to leave. That being said, they are just stupid kid.
yeah, exactly.
I'm the man of the house one time. So this comes into conflict, right? Because one person, Telemachus, Odysseus' son, is becoming the man of the house. So he is somewhere between 19 and 21, which is why they're all going, whatever.
Stupid kid.
His discontent with the suitors badgering his mom is becoming clearer and clearer, and now he even has a guide mentee.
Okay, so this is where things start to get a little complicated, mainly because Athena is of the opinion that she can do nothing unless she's in a male form. So Athena has disguised...
Society proves her right.
Society does prove her right, turns out. Athena has disguised herself as an old friend of Odysseus' father. Odysseus' father's name is Laertes. He's very old. Okay? And so this friend, Mentes, is going to be very old. So take note here that Athena is disguised as Mentes, not Mentor. She will eventually be disguised as Mentor, who's younger and can go on trips and stuff. But right now, she's Mentes. So they are different characters, and that will be important later on. Once Telemachus gives Athena a proper xenia welcome, she, as Mentes, advises Telemachus to gather a crew and to sail to Pylos, and then to Sparta to gather information about his father. Those two kings, Nestor and Menelaus, will have information about Odysseus, she says. She also encourages Telemachus to avenge his father's honor by killing the suitors that dishonor the palace. Just like this new name, Prince Orestes avenged the death of his father, Agamemnon, by killing his father's killer. Those are a bunch of names. Agamemnon, Orestes, we will get to in a little bit. But essentially, what Athena's saying here is hey, go get some information. Also be ready to kill all these suitors. Classic.
So that night, Penelope makes an entrance, asking a bard to stop singing about the return home of a different Trojan war hero. It's making me sad. Stop bumming me out. Telemachus shows strength of character by reminding his mother to stay optimistic. We don't know that something has happened to him necessarily. He was at war for 10 years anyway. Why wouldn't he still be out there doing something? Telemachus then addresses the suitors directly, tells them that they have overstayed their welcome and they've got to give. This is the first time Telemachus has shown any fortitude at all, and is now considered a threat to the suitors.
And that's book one. Like, mentions of Odysseus, but the actual Odyssey that he's been on, very minimal. Absolutely. So let's give you some of the important characters that you need to know before we dive into book two. It's just two, so don't freak out yet. But this is where we come to the head of the suitors, who, for the Christopher Nolan movies, played by Robert Pattinson. Got his name that time. Antinous is his name. Often seen as the head honcho of the suitors, he is aggressive, unkind, and often mocks Odysseus and Telemachus. He believes Penelope has caused an undue conflict between all these suitors by not choosing one. It's Penelope's fault.
Victim blaming. Cool. Eurymachus is the other prominent suitor. They are yin and yang, these guys.
A smooth criminal,
Smooth talker.
Yes.
Manipulative, deceitful. He is a bit more of the intellectual of the two jerks, particularly to Penelope. So, beginning book two, Telemachus gives this stirring speech to all of Ithaca. Athena uses her powers to make him look godlike, striking. Who is this guy? Ooh, ah. He discusses the dishonor that the suitors have brought upon his home, rejecting the expectations of Xenia. He also tells the crowd they should not be indifferent. This actually, hey, you should hear this too.
Yeah.
Ithaca. The gods might avenge the crimes of the suitors, and some of those dudes are your kids. Come get your kids.
Get your children out of my house.
Gods are not going to appreciate this.
I think it's also important to mention here that basically by staying in the home, by drinking all these droves of wine, by eating all of these livestock, that is literally Telemachus's inheritance. Mm-hmm. There's not, like, they have drachma, the Greek coin that they used for like thousands of years before they joined the European Union. Cool history fact, look it up. But so they are literally eating the wealth of the kingdom. The ability for Odysseus to make any purchases, what Telemachus will inherit if everybody find out, oh, by the way, Odysseus is dead. So it's not just like they're like sitting around eating a couple pizzas, drinking beer. They're like literally taking money out of his bank. So here comes the big baddie, Antinous, who blames Penelope. She told the suitors that she would pick a suitor as a husband after she finished creating a shroud, which is like a hood or a blanket, for her father-in-law, Laertes. That's Odysseus' father. Turns out, Penelope's been super smart. She has been unweaving this shroud each night to stave off the time when she has to make a decision, which I think is pretty funny in terms of, like, for 10 years, they've been like, man, she's been trying to make this shroud. Man, she is the worst seamstress. Athena must hate her. It turns out, no, not at all. But one of the handmaidens of Penelope gives up that secret to Antinous, and so he makes this big speech, and essentially is like, we are justified in our rude behavior because of...
Retroactively.
Yeah. Retroactively, we are justified because she's been lying to us. I don't know that that's how logic works, but sure, my guy. He suggests Telemachus sends Penelope back to her father in Sparta so that he can decide who her husband should be. Which is such a disgraceful idea that Zeus himself sends two eagles, the sign of Zeus, down from a mountain to tear each other apart in the sky above this whole thing. And then this one prophet is like, hey, by the way, that's an omen of revenge. Y'all are gonna die.
BT dubs. Does Antinous heed this omen, though? Absolutely not. After the prophet conveys this omen to mean death, Eurymachus mocks the omen and prophecy and says the behavior will continue until Penelope chooses a husband. The beatings will continue until morale improves. Actual mentor, so not a disguised Athena, reproaches the crowd for their indifference, their inaction, which will ultimately...
Athena is back as Mentes, not mentor. She blesses Telemachus with the courage and cleverness of Odysseus. Big thing. She says the suitors are doomed and not to dwell on them. Antinous invites Telemachus to join in the revelry of the suitors. I really feel like he would have joined in and then been killed immediately.
Yeah.
So good job, because Telemachus says he wants nothing to do with the suitors and goes and finds his nurse, Eurycleia, to prepare supplies for the trip. Eurycleia tells Telemachus that a god is surely watching over his venture and promises to keep his departure a secret from his mother.
Bad idea.
Yeah, bad idea always.
Don't keep secrets from anybody's mom.
From anybody's mother.
Meanwhile, Athena has to pretend to be yet another man to get anything done. Using her godly gifts, she turns herself into Telemachus and gathers a crew. Then, seeing how the men do obey this physical figure of Telemachus,
actual Telemachus,
real Telemachus, confidently takes control of the men and vessel, prays to Athena and other gods as they set off on his own, not Odyssey. He is the sun.
It's the Telemachy.
It's the Telemachy.
Oh, wait, that's literally the section. Wow, look at us go!
We've decoded Greek.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how that works. Important characters to know for book 3. We are going to meet a guy named King Nestor, and we'll be in his kingdom of Pylos for a hot minute. King Nestor is the first royal that Telemachus visits. He's the oldest and wisest of the Greek kings to have fought in the Trojan War.
Next, we have Agamemnon. If you're at all familiar with Greek tragedy, you have heard his name. He is the king of Mycenae, or Argos, and commander of the Greek army that fought the Trojan War. It's also worth noting that Agamemnon and his brother are both under the curse of the house of Atreus, which essentially means they are doomed to violence. And the violence simply knows no bounds in this family. There is so much killing. They eat each other. They literally decide, like, we actually know more than the gods.
Yeah.
It's never worked for anyone else, but I think it might work this time. And they feed members of their family to others and to gods. Doomed house. Ding dang doomed house.
Menelaus, brother of Agamemnon. I'm sure he'll be fine. He's the king of Sparta. His wife, Helen, was kidnapped and/or left him for Paris of Troy, which started the whole ding-dang-dong Trojan War. He is in charge of Sparta. Sparta is very famous because it is the Greek area that is ruled by militarized oligarchy, as you may have seen in the movie 300.
Aegisthus and Clytemnestra. Clytemnestra is Agamemnon's wife. Should also be noted, she is the mother of Iphigenia, who Agamemnon sacrificed to Artemis so she would blow the winds back into the sails of the Greek forces to get to Troy. Again, this family loves killing members of this family.
At least this one wasn't eaten.
Well, it says sacrifice. I don't...
Artemis just non.
I don't know Artemis like that. And Aegisthus is the seducer and ultimately lover of Clytemnestra. Book 3 then begins with Telemachus witnessing a huge ceremony sacrificing bulls to Poseidon. Tepid watching this display, Telemachus has to be convinced by Athena, who is now disguised as Mentor, not Mentes. Remember, this guy's old. He is Odysseus' father's age, which again, ancient. He would not have been a good disguise for Athena because he is probably too old for this kind of travel.
Yeah, Mentes.
Athena Mentor urges Telemachus not to be shy. Ask about Odysseus. What could happen?
Because Telemachus has such good manners and offers the wine, which was offered to him by Nestor's son, to Athena first. It's all very clear, I know. Athena sees the respect and asks Poseidon to grant Telemachus safe passage home, which he agrees to. This is really important because Poseidon really hates Odysseus right now, and it is absolutely not above the Greek gods to take out their pettiness on anybody that may be tangentially related. Like, you think about that famous Spaceball scene where he's like, I'm your first cousin's 8th roommate. Like, that is the level of pettiness that Poseidon could have. And he could take that out on Telemachus. Telemachus repeats the prayer that Poseidon gives him safe passage, all good. Hey, no one's gonna mess with my boy Telemachy anymore.
With much Xenia going on, Nestor does meet his guests and finally asks for their names. When discovering that he has Odysseus' son in his midst, Nestor does reveal some information, although he doesn't know everything. For the first time, Homer gives us some more information about the end of the Trojan War. Remember, the Iliad ends with the death of the Trojan hero Hector. That epic ends with Achilles and Paris alive, and no end to the war yet. The Iliad and the Odyssey are the only survivors from 8 different epic poems that were part of the Trojan epic cycle. So this is the first we've heard of what happened to Agamemnon. Nestor tells us how Athena created division between Agamemnon and his brother Menelaus, and that Menelaus left early with a group including Nestor, while Agamemnon and others, including Odysseus, stayed behind to make sacrifices to Athena.
Once Agamemnon returned home feeling safe, he decides to take a bath, which is like a very luxurious thing to be able to do. And in this huge palace with all these oils and the people who are going to oil him up and all of that different things that go along with being bathed, behoodled, whatever you want to call it. He was ambushed by his wife's lover, Odysseus, who murdered him in his bath, even though he was warned by a prophecy that if he does kill Agamemnon, he would be doomed if he did. But never fear, Nestor says. Agamemnon's son, Orestes, mentioned earlier by us, does avenge the murder by murdering the murderer.
Via murder.
Via murder.
As we so often do.
And Nestor tells Telemachus to be like Orestes. So we've got all of this mention of like, the suitors are you should be killed, and double eagles tearing each other apart, and watch out, you Ithacans. Your sons are doing bad things, and they could all die. Now we've got more encouragement that death is the right answer, to which Hades just is filing his nails somewhere down in the underworld.
I was going to say, getting files ready.
yeah, by filing his nails. That's how he does it. That's where that phrase comes from.
Yeah.
After Nestor tells Telemachus to be like Orestes, Athena reveals herself to Nestor by turning into an eagle, which in turn makes Nestor impressed with Telemachus. Wow, what a great character you are. You have this god in your corner. That's amazing. So he presents many gifts to Telemachus. Chariots, horses, his own son will lead him to Sparta, and you get a bath from my own daughter, Polycaste, who rubs him down with oil and then dresses him in beautiful clothes so he appears godlike. And sort of unlike all the other books, that's how that one ends. The other ones have great cliffhangers, and this one's like, got a bath. So moving on to book 4, here are the important characters that you need to know. It's only 2. Helen. That's right. It's that Helen, the one of Troy. Helen is Menelaus' wife. This is the Helen that we mentioned earlier, the one that Paris is gifted by Aphrodite, and either she's like super down with it or hoodwinked by a goddess and kidnapped. It's all a little unclear at times. Her presence as the wife and princess of Troy is what caused the Greeks and Odysseus with them much insult and to pursue her to go to Troy and battle. So the Trojan War is this long siege where essentially Menelaus is like, my wife! And Agamemnon's like, we can't let that insult happen. So little bro, I got you. And he whips up all of the different kings of the Greeks and gets them to the sailing port to go after the current day Turkey area where Troy is and sack the city and get Helen back, and then it's all done. Turns out that's not what happens. Artemis is really upset, that's a Greek god, that Agamemnon killed one of her stags. And so she's like, you get no wind. And there's nothing worse than something superstitious happening in Greek mythology. Not having wind in your sails means the entire Greek army is going to start to go, hey, I don't know if the gods are behind this. I don't know that this is the right idea.
I don't know if I'm behind this.
And so, like, Agamemnon essentially learns Artemis is pissed and he's got to do something for her. So he takes his oldest daughter, who's his wife's favorite child, and kills her. Sacrifices her because he's the Atreus house. So they finally get wind in the sails. They go out, and there's a lot of things going on. Achilles is a part of this fight, but he stops being in it for a little while because he gets his hurt feelings. And then other people get hurt feelings, and they stop fighting.
And then later his hurt Anki.
and then his hurt Anki happens. Essentially, the Greeks get stuck there for a long time because the Trojans do this awesome maneuver and burn all of their boats while they think they're about to fight somewhere else. So it's a 10-year-long siege that eventually ends because Odysseus's horse.
That's right, folks. It's Trojan horsey time. So, Odysseus does create the Trojan horse. He leaves it as a monument to the gods, actually not as a gift. This is deeply misread.
deeply misunderstood.
By the greedy Trojans, and in their hubris, they bring it into their gates themselves. The gates built by Poseidon and Apollo.
So that's a fascinating bit of backstory, is that at one point Poseidon and Apollo are like, we're going to usurp authority over Zeus. And Zeus is like, the heck you are not. And he sentences them. First of all, Hera's also a part of this, his own wife's sister.
Always.
And he's like, you're suspended in the sky. And that's like his punishment for her.
Go upstairs.
Basically. And for Apollo and Poseidon, he's like, you guys are mortal for 1 year and have to do mortal servitude. And so they get hired as like the dream architecture team of the Trojan Wall and built those walls.
You know, the water and sun guy.
The water and sun guy. They
Great wall builders.
Is it not hardened clay that builds walls? So they, in their 1 year of servitude, get hired to build the walls. They make them impenetrable. Even if they're in mortal forms, they're still the best walls anybody has ever seen. And then the king of Troy is like, nah, I'm not paying you. Which is why both of them hate Troy during the Battle of Troy.
Mega anti-Troy.
Really mega anti-Troy. But so it takes trickery, wisdom, Athena's sort of side of things in order for Odysseus to be like, hey, we're going to erect this horse and we're going to be inside of it. And
you and me both know Trojans cannot resist a horse.
They can't resist
and they
the
don't.
horse. They do not. The horse goes inside, the men come out, the sacking of Troy begins, and really heinous war crimes occur for the rest of that.
Picking up at the beginning of Book 4, taken by Nestor's son, Pisistratus, Telemachus arrives at Menelaus' palace, where the king is celebrating how both of his children, a son and a daughter, just got married. Not to each other. This is different. Menelaus' mansion is, as they used to say, off the hizzock. It's enormous. Turns out, Zeus swept Menelaus' return ship out to Egypt, where he amassed huge wealth while exiled there for 7 years. Exiled? Doesn't really sound like it.
Was avoiding the pharaoh the whole time.
Invested.
Like Indiana Jones archaeologied some wealth into his being.
Blessed by Osiris?
Blessed by Osiris? You're telling me Anubis didn't get him? Menelaus is still grieving his comrades from Troy. Before knowing who Telemachus is, remember, you don't have to know their name to be a good host yet. He just is like, oh yeah, I'm so sad, and I wish I didn't have all these riches. I wish half my men more had survived. You know, real grieving there. So before he knows who Telemachus is, Menelaus grieves Odysseus the most, he says, because he worked so hard and he suffered so hard. Helen makes an appearance and guesses that Telemachus is Odysseus' son because they look so alike. She then goes on to drug all the wine that night so everyone forgets their sorrows and tells how Odysseus snuck into Troy as a beggar and killed many troglodytes, and then tells how Odysseus snuck into Troy as a beggar, killed many Trojans, and got useful information about the city without being noticed. Only Helen knew him, but she didn't give him up because by that point she had repented her infidelity. Oh, did you?
Is Helen telling the truth? Her story goes on with how she knew Odysseus and his men were inside the Trojan horse, and she tried to lure them out by imitating the voices of the soldiers' wives. But Odysseus held his men and saved their lives.
It's the wildest, like, whose side are you on? Because Odysseus did that before he did.
Heel turn.
Oh yeah, that's Odysseus. I won't say anything. Hey guys, come out.
Hey, it's me, your wife. Did she know their names? What are we talking about?
apparently, I think as the yeah, exactly, it's a little bit of 1920s.
They could not see her.
No. I think as the legend goes, some god is like giving her like, do this now, do this now.
She's just Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah, basically.
The face that launched 1,000 ships.
Later, Telemachus tells Menelaus all about the suitors' problem and asks the king to tell him everything he knows about Odysseus.
That's the problem where you there's 5 suitors on one side and 1 suitor on another track.
Yeah.
Do you pull the lever or not? The suitor problem.
The suitor problem. I think the answer might be Telemachus will kill all of them.
Yeah, he lets it go and then yoinks the
to send the caboose over to the other side. Yeah, absolutely, the lever. So, he asks directly about Odysseus, and Menelaus then gives him not a straight answer at all. He goes on this very weaving long tale about how he and his men realize that some god has swept them out to sea and stranded them in Egypt and wouldn't let them leave. But eventually, with the daughter of Proteus, Proteus is the herdsman of Poseidon's seals.
Incredible.
So really crazy.
What
Paul.
a resume.
Could you imagine? I would like to teach her, what's your qualifications? I'm immortal, and also I was the herdsman of some seals for Poseidon.
I didn't know they were even called a herd when they were a group.
They're probably not, but that's how he's described. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyways, so Proteus, this daughter of Proteus is like, hey, go to him. He'll know some information. And Menelaus and his men kill some seals. And then, like Luke in Empire Strikes Back, go inside of them and pretend that they're just sleeping seals. And then when Proteus eventually comes out... yeah. So when Proteus hops up out of his seal form and just starts to sleep next to his seals, they ambush him and they hold him. They hold him very tightly until he tells them what is the what.
Now, holding Proteus, no small feat. This god could transform, and did, into a lion, a serpent, a boar, etc. And yet, they persisted. They held him still. And eventually, he gave up information. Ajax, not the really famous Ajax, but a lesser Ajax, died because of this hubris. He almost drowned at sea, then shouted that no god could kill him. So Poseidon caused an earthquake, and the bit of land he stood on returned to the sea. He recounts Agamemnon's death to Menelaus, and also tells him that Odysseus is stuck on Calypso's island.
You gotta imagine that Telemachus listening to that is like these two kind of embarrassing deaths. Like, no god can kill me. Oh no, I fell into the sea and drowned.
Like, I imagine him like goofy.
Yeah.
Into the sea.
And then same thing with Agamemnon when he's getting stabbed in the back. And so you gotta imagine that you're like, so tell me about Odysseus, and this guy's like, yeah, this guy died super embarrassing, and then this guy died super embarrassing, and your dad. And
he's like, sorry, about my dad again?
Yeah. Did he die embarrassing? You could just tell me. Oh no, he's stuck.
No, he's chilling.
With this like beautiful woman on this very nice island where he's been for 7 years, and also he gets laid all the time. He gets what now? Nothing.
He stares out to the sea longingly. That is also true.
That is also true. That does actually happen. Meanwhile, something is rotten in the state of Denmark. I mean, Ithaca. The suitors have uncovered that Telemachus left without them knowing, and is gathering information about Odysseus. They plan to kill him when he returns. Penelope is so distraught that Athena has to send a phantom in the shape of Penelope's sister to tell her that Telemachus is under Athena's direct command. So, Miss Elizabeth, what are your initial impressions about the first 4 books of the Odyssey?
Well, just like we said at the beginning, they're real Telemachy.
They're so... Hey, you guys are going to read this story about Odysseus. Nice. But not for a while.
Hear me out, though. I actually need you to know what is happening at the same time as his captivity.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's his story.
It's really
It's his story.
It is going to be his story.
It's his story.
We are going to get there.
His son is so sad.
His son is so sad.
Cannot overemphasize
His wife,
how sad his boy is.
also sad. The gods
sad,
not doing anything about
scheming.
it. Yeah, scheming.
Yeah.
Athena's out there. I find it really. I think it's a good hook to start the story with like everybody who's been missing him, and like you actually have no idea if this is your first time hearing the oral story of the Odyssey. You wouldn't have any idea
Odysseus.
what happened to Odysseus, and so if you haven't heard the Iliad before, or if you've heard the Iliad but you don't know what's happened to Odysseus, you're now starting in this hook that everyone can enter, which is being a child and a relationship with
yearning,
a parent.
yearning for this stable relationship that you know you should have.
Yeah, totally.
Everyone around me has dads.
Look at all of these suitors.
So
they all
sad.
want to be my dad.
I hate them.
I don't like them.
I want my dad.
I want my dad.
It's like the Greek epic version of Save the Cat, right? The story trope that you need to, within the first few interactions with your main character, you need to get them to do something that grants them your trust and your grace and telegraphs their character in some way equivalent to saving a cat.
Yeah.
And showing that empathy and the caring. And so to essentially be like, now what's the cat up to? Telemachus and Penelope. They're waiting for Dad.
Yeah.
But we actually, like, before we get to Dad, I need you to know why you care about him getting home at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who cares about him getting home if we don't know
what's there? So what he's trying to return to, like that steadfast loyalty as Penelope, as opposed to Agamemnon's wife, right? That juxtaposition, and Helen, like the three wives that we meet, Penelope is
the contrast and all those like familiar relationships.
She's amazingly fastidious in her respect and love for Odysseus, which is, as you were saying earlier, doesn't always come with marriage at the time. His son is like, I want my dad. I've heard all of these legends about him. I've always been compared to him. People are comparing me now to him. And so you get to learn through Odysseus' character at this legendary status. I find that fascinating and good. And then also I like the little tidbits of, okay, so we know he's on an island. We know he had trouble getting home. We know here's what the other trials and tribulations that people took to get home. People who were disrespectful died. People who were respectful survived.
Yeah, it shows us the stakes. That, like, these are the things that you can do. These are the things you cannot do. And it's not just that they're enforced by social contract. The gods are watching.
Yeah, there's a social contract, but also above all of that, eyeballs of gods.
By the gods.
Yeah,
act right. Actually, or else.
Yes, or else. Like, we will be killing you.
No, for real, we're striking you down. Yeah. We are cursing your entire bloodline.
And I think it's fascinating too. We get to know the gods a lot. I mean, you get to in the Iliad as well, but this idea, it's very separate from the idea of like Christianity in terms of God being like perfect and this perfection and aspiration
omniscient,
to get up to,
all-knowing, completely like mysterious. Yeah, it's impossible to understand or conceptualize.
Instead, the gods are full of fallacy. They're very mortal. Mm-hmm. They feel, except for like, they are immortal, and so when they are petty, it goes on forever, and you are done because your good grandpa did something that somebody didn't like, and so now you're getting completely screwed because of it. And so we get this very different sense of like the inner workings of Zeus and Poseidon, and oh my gosh, the sea, and that's really important because Ithaca's on an island, and all of that stuff. So with that being said, I know we just lost a hand listening to that story, but listen up. It's the I am your father category for most iconic and most important character moment. I think I have, for most important character moment, Telemachus giving wine to Athena. And I think the reason that is he is showing the opposite of what all the bad guys are being shown to do. The lack of sthenia, that Greek idea of hospitality and good manners. And so he is being respectful, even though Athena is disguised as Mentes, our mentor, whichever one it is at the time. He is showing her, like, he could be very much like Antony. I am this big, important person. I am the one that should be respected. I'm Odysseus' son, right? How many times do we have in literature the king who like did all the hard stuff and knows how to rule, and then the son who's like, I'm driving the Ferrari and I do coke. Yeah. And so instead, Telemachus is being presented as this very meek, humble, good dude who works hard and shows the right way to go about and do things. So for me, I think that's the most important character moment. I would say, to me, the most iconic one is Athena being like, Eagle! In front of Esther.
Yeah. Because, this nice, I'm very, we're setting the table, we're putting out the mid-range wine. I don't know you, but we're providing, right? And then, hold my beer.
You're what? You'll know in a couple of centuries. The Germans are doing it. It's fine. Who? The Gothics. The Visigoths. They'll be German soon. When? 4,000 years from now. I would also say there's probably an argument for the Antinous Penelope reveal, but I have saved that for a discussion for the next category.
All right, now everyone, sit down. It's time for our I Am Iron Man, most iconic, most important scene category.
I don't think that there's any argument around iconic, because the Trojan horse
Trojan horse.
is like...
That's what everyone ever knows about this story and retroactively about
the Iliad.
It's not even in that one.
It's not in it, but everyone thinks. I mean,
but it's in the Trojan War.
We had a personal or a joint friend, I should say, who watched the trailer for the Odyssey movie and was like, I feel like I've seen the whole story now. And we had to be like,
oh no. You fully and fundamentally misunderstand what the story is about.
That's the Iliad, kind of. Not really. It is basically the Odyssey.
The prequel to the Odyssey.
Yeah, basically the prequel to the Odyssey. You have seen the prequel to the Odyssey. That's true.
That's true.
That's true.
Also, It
of
is
the
before.
It
is before. We're actually fine seeing this before July 17th.
So, I most iconic, certainly, the Trojan horse.
I think if we're looking at, so we've got the perspective of Odysseus as this like larger than life mortal.
Yeah.
Like he is bumping up kind of against all of this godlike greatness without ever actually possessing it in this way that elevates him.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's such a great point, because like somebody like Heracles or Hercules in the Roman, he's half god. Or
half god and a monster,
and an absolute monster with it. The other thing too is like,
sorry,
Disney. Achilles is like Odysseus, but I would argue that these two are the biggest humans, just straight up humans in Greek mythology.
And
maybe Euripides, for different reasons, for very different reasons.
Yeah, and that in that same way that like Odysseus, again, even still kind of comes out forward because it's all his brain and his intellect and his trickiness, which we'll see throughout this tale, why it takes him friggin' 10 years to get home. Because he's being a trickster.
Too tricky for his own good.
He is being a trickster. But with Achilles, it was like an attempted gift of trickiness that just can't get him to the finish line.
That a different goddess was like,
someone
I'm gonna
else
guide
tried
your
to
arrow.
give him. Yeah. And so then this downfall, right, is even more tragic because he's that he's like that close to greatness with the help.
Yeah.
And then this inherent mortality catches up to him.
Bites him.
There is just no way around it.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say for the most important scene for the story right now would be Antinous and Penelope and Telemachus sort of all squaring off about what's going on, because it really sets the stakes of what's going on at home. Because Antinous is basically saying like, hey, we're going to keep being this awful. And it's because I have discovered, as the head of all of these suitors, giving us a clear villain for the end game, I have discovered that your mother has been unweaving this shroud nightly so she doesn't have to pick a husband. She's conniving. She's Odysseus' wife. Right.
Sir, take a hit?
Yeah.
What?
Do you not know? Have you not seen?
She's not a terrible weaver. She's tricky.
Jeez.
And I am mad
about that for some reason. I think that sets up a lot of what's going on back in the kingdom of Ithaca. And also, you get this really good insight into each character. Penelope is resourceful, loyal, and knows how to command her kingdom, even without being able to be what Athena can do, turn into a man and direct. So she's doing the best she can within the confines of the gender at the time of Greek mythology that the story's being written about. And boy, is it effective and good.
Yeah. And it's interesting that kind of across Greek mythology, we get kind of the two sides of the same coin of like many different like features of humanity. So this like trickiness, right, we see as a terrible quality of Zeus.
Yes.
See Goose story. But also like this trickiness can temporarily get you past the obstacle in front of you.
Yeah.
And it's going to cause you problems later. It's
Yeah.
going to get you a psyche, a beautiful view of Cupid.
Yeah.
And he's going to run away. Like,
Yeah.
You're not going to get what you think you're going to get when you think you can outsmart fate.
Yes.
And you cannot.
You
There's
can't
no clearer through line in all of Greek mythology than fate being absolute.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's something that drove a lot of critics of the Hercules Disney movie because they literally circumvent the three fates.
Yeah.
Crack open an encyclopedia. It's time for our, as Elijah Wood once said, no, how could we have known category, where we discuss the most important information disseminated to the fandom in this epic poem. I would argue that the major piece, other than the Xenia, which is the ancient Greek way of doing things, is just like how the gods work, how petty they are, how stupid they can be, how ridiculously human that they are,
huge egos
and
are.
like why hubris is such a big problem. Why being, and it is a good story in that sense, where you are learning like, hey, when you're too full of yourself, when you feel yourself too much, when you get so bent out of shape on behalf of yourself, it either is going to be bad for you as a mortal because the gods are going to get you, or like Ajax just being like, you can't kill me. Oh! Or it's the gods. You can see the absolute mistreatment of the mortals. So either way, it sucks.
I'm also going to go back to your initial point of Xenia. Like, just the principles of it are very much illustrated through the different narratives. That when you do the societally right thing and you are generous and you open your home, that you ultimately do come out on top.
Yeah.
And so though that is very much like over the course of the entire story, we see that play out well for Telemachus and for Penelope. We also then see kind of examples of where it goes really wrong.
Yeah.
That if you aren't doing it, if you are not adhering to this social contract, that you are going to be a good guest because you know you're going to be a host in the future.
Right.
This like reciprocity of it. When you don't respect that, again, it's that like fate piece of things what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
And so if you are a good guest, you then will know what you expect of others and can be a better host in the future and vice versa.
It is a really good way of creating respect others and respect yourself sort of setup, where this social contract, I mean, you take away all the god pieces, the religious pieces, essentially what is functionally doing is the golden rule of like, hey, be kind to each other, and because others will be kind to you, and if we can keep doing that, society will be good, the social contract is created, which is awesome. And at the same time, you have to do the Xenia, and you have to be respectful of the gods separately.
Well, and I mean, together, Xenia is like to be Zeus-like.
Yeah, to be Zeus-like.
So it is to honor the hospitality of Zeus, extending it to other people.
Yeah.
And so it's these inextricable relationships between what we do as humans and what we're expected to do on behalf of or in reverence to the gods. They have to go together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone off the stage and cue Gandalf. Questions that need answering.
So this is the questions that are the ridiculous and also the earnest. I think the immediacy that comes to mind is like, where's Odysseus's second in command here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is there not some man who's regent while Odysseus is gone? That would do a lot.
Yeah.
In this.
He knew he left a fetus behind.
Right.
Like...
And gotta tell you, other than like the superstitions of like wave a watch around the hand, and if it goes counterclockwise, it's a girl or boy. He doesn't know if it's going to be a boy or a girl. So like, cool, it ended up being Telemachus, but that's still, you're still waiting 20 years.
Big old 50-50.
But it is a big old 50-50.
Big old 50-50 to go to war on.
Yeah. So I don't understand why, and like maybe in the Greek culture there's just like, oh yeah, everyone takes care of each other, so it's totally fine. But it seems prudent that like Mentor Mentas or Laertes, who was ostensibly the previous king.
Why would you not be? And if he has, as admitted by villain suitor, right? He has the authority, allegedly, to be the one picking the next king.
Right.
Do that? Yeah. Like, and you have to pick one of the suitors. Does he?
Yeah.
Telemachus is right there.
Yeah. Now, what is revealed about Laertes is that he is like not of sound mind, and that the age has not been good to him since his wife passed.
And still, like, we're all gonna go to him and let him pick Penelope. If you don't pick someone, we're gonna leapfrog you.
Yeah, either way, they're gonna try and leapfrog her. Also,
Sparta... And like, why? Also, why?
Yeah.
Like, Sparta is not more in charge.
Because they're going. They want to go to her father in Sparta, and they're like, "Well, we'll send her back to Sparta to have him pick the next husband." And it's like, Penelope, could you not just have him come down and rule in Odysseus' stead?
Yeah,
if you obviously are not in charge of Sparta, that's Menelaus. Like, come be down here. I just like don't understand the lack of a backup option.
Yeah, we're awful confident about him returning from war.
Yeah. The major question everybody should be asking is why Poseidon is upset with Odysseus, but that is going to come. I promise you. Yeah. I think the other thing here is like, what is stopping? Why has Antinous and the other people not already killed Telemachus at this point? Because
clearly is not an obstacle to power.
Right. He's like not an obstacle to power. Also, for a lot of this, he is a child, and like there are lots of deaths, and it's not like Skenia is really getting in your way because you're eating everything to begin with. I have no more questions. Do you have any more questions?
I do have one. I want to say kind of meta question.
Yeah.
The crossover between nymph pseudo goddess Calypso.
Yeah.
And steel drums. When does that happen? When does Calypso become lemonade?
Okay, give listeners the background on that. That's so funny.
I just the way you hear Calypso in the US is as a style of Caribbean island music.
How?
Lemonade. How did we... And I know that the nymph Calypso had to be first.
Gotta be, right?
Had to be.
I feel like steel drums.
Can you imagine?
Doesn't predate steel.
What if it can't... Unless we're marching into Troy with this... And then hot.
Release the mortar.
So that linguistic crossover I am deeply curious about. And I am just gonna go ahead and spoil for you guys. They don't answer it by the end of the poem. They just don't.
They definitely don't.
They don't answer it.
But now you have homework because before our next episode, that's going to be one of the first things that we discuss.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Okay. Great, that's the end of questions and answers. Cast off and trim the sails. It's time to venture in Poseidon's murky depths to touch upon what themes these 4 books reveal to us. So I've got 2 themes. Dealer's choice on which one you want to discuss first. We've got misogyny of this particular Greek myth and divine intervention. Which one would you like to handle first?
Yeah, let's go misogyny.
Great. Excellent. So the thing that immediately sticks out to me, and the thing that I have to discuss with my students every time, because there is like, yes, this is a Greek myth. Yes, there are different ideas about what genders do, what marriage is like, what being faithful or not faithful means. And this is not a Christian society, so it is very different,
Super
and
different
all sorts of
expectations.
different planes of existence. What Spartans are doing at the time is very different from what like the Bible says to do, etc. And at the same time, this is a story that you're telling in 2026, where a lot of people without media literacy, and my job as a teacher is to help with media literacy or just literacy in general, and a deeper understanding, is to point out flaws that may be occurring within the context of today and within the context of the past. So whereas it's easy, and I would say almost lazy, to go, the story of its time. I do think that you have to at some point say, hey, there's some weird stuff going on with Penelope and Odysseus in the way that they are juxtaposed together. Because we're going to see very shortly, Odysseus is like constantly having sex with Calypso and does so with Circe and has, I think, 3 children between those 2 women. And the way that they sort of present this information is like, totally fine. Odysseus has more kids. Yay!
I would argue it's a little more neutral than yay. they as far as I understand, it's not super a celebration of it, but also not like a condemning of it.
Yeah, I think the story itself doesn't actually say yay or nay. I think a lot of people to come away with this being like, oh, Odysseus has like 3 kids, other than Telemachus. How neat is that? And that's like an audience response from a lot of men. Versus to me, when I'm hearing about this, it's like, wow, Penelope is out there being extremely faithful and doing everything that she can to put off not even just like having a one night stand, but that, and also not taking another partner for life because of her love and respect of Odysseus. Versus Odysseus is just there being like, oh no, what am I supposed to do? Like he wants to be home. That's very clear. But the story kind of juxtaposes them in very 2 different ways, where it's okay that Odysseus is having sex and it's very good and stand up, and Penelope's much better because she's not. Mm-hmm. And I don't love that gender difference.
Yeah. It's also weird because both Circe and Calypso, with their magicalness, and like that power, I feel like is almost intended to make it more of an even match.
Yeah.
Right? Of like the way that Greek society, most societies at that point in time, if you were on that side of the ocean, being like revolving around patriarchy, and obviously the 3 most powerful men in all the universe are, it's the brothers, it's the dudes, and then the like yada 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 sister wife. Like, we either hear about Hera's bitterness and anger and pettiness towards mortal women, who she, in theory, is not in competition with at all, and these brothers whose only worthy competition is each other.
Yes.
And so that odd kind of patriarchal, a mortal man and a magically enhanced woman are the only ones who are on the same plane as each other, rather than a mortal man and a mortal woman.
Yeah.
That she has to be enhanced in this way for it to be considered an even match.
Right.
And so for both of the women in this instance, they're both, very possessive of Odysseus, which we'll see soon. But it's an interesting kind of social mapping, like social positioning of the men and women in the story, and also how loosey goosey gender is at all.
Yeah.
That like Athena knows that mortals and their tiny brains have to see a man.
Oh my god!
So she does that the whole time, right? She turns into a man to be taken seriously.
3 different men without this, and that again from a like a historical perspective, being like, yeah, she would have to do this at this time in order to be taken which is really just aggravating about the way in which that Homer perceives Greek culture, that she couldn't just present a female body and say, I am Athena, you must listen to me, which you would think that would be okay.
Well, and I wonder also if that then is another like pro for the legendary and heroic status of Odysseus.
Yeah.
He doesn't need that.
He doesn't need it at all, which is
she
incredible.
Shows up, right?
Yeah.
Like, she shows up as Athena.
Yeah.
And as his patron.
Yeah.
As a patron. And he doesn't need her to shapeshift. Your average guy who we have to convince of something,
right.
like your average small-minded mortal,
yeah.
has to see a guy to hear the words.
And so that is, it's not like necessarily in the same way that a little bit differently than the way I feel about the way the story is set up, being misogynistic between the perception of Penelope's faithfulness and Odysseus's faithfulness. It's actually very different here, where I'm like, all the good guys. Nestor sees Athena and is like, great, oh my gosh, let me give you even more gifts. He's not, it actually shows this adherence to the gods, whether male or female, is actually really important. And I do really like that. Odysseus doesn't need it. Telemachus eventually won't need it. He just respects Athena for who she is. Versus like Antinous and everyone's like, the gods. And like everyone that she has to go and I am now Telemachus and look how godly I am. That's not what Telemachus added last night. He's a higher register. No, I am Telemachus. Like,
only 19. He can't even get some random dudes out of his house.
How is he going to command a Oh, I like this Telemachus. So, but
he's glowing. Is he glowing? He looks good.
I think he's actually glowing.
He looks good.
He can't be pregnant.
This is a listening only medium. For those of you out there listening, he can't be glowing. Samuel Williams looked at his watch as though checking on Telemachus's
pregnancy
ovulation.
Yep, that did happen silently.
No.
He can't be pregnant.
Not dependent on the time.
Checks watch. Wait a second. Anyways, so that being the case, speaking of Zeus, divine intervention, I think, is the other. Obviously, we talked a ton about Xenia. We don't need to go over that here. But Zeus and divine intervention is like all over the place. The only reason why Odysseus can even return home is because Athena begs Zeus to let him go, and Poseidon's not around, and Zeus is like, "Yeah, okay, fine."
I hate that guy anyway. Poseidon, to be clear.
I'm like Poseidon's herdsman, knowing a lot of stuff about Odysseus and Ajax and Agamemnon. Okay, whoa! Like you're constantly confronted with either omens, prophecies from the gods, or their actual direct intervention. And I think that is something that you very rarely see in current day. There's not a lot of like mythos being created where the gods are specifically doing this. Like you think about even Tolkien and him being sort of the grandfather of all modern fantasy. He has gods in his world. They do not intervene at the level that Greek mythology does. And I find that that's both furious it's infuriating from a storytelling perspective to me because it feels very contrived at times. Like, and then Poseidon says no.
Yeah, I mean, that's Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah. But at the same time, it is all a storytelling technique as to how to get people to act right. Mm-hmm. And so from that point where it is essentially, this is a very long parable. Mm-hmm. I'm fine. Mythology. Yeah. It's all parable. Turns out, don't do that.
Bad.
It might be Zeus.
Don't give birth from your head. Bad.
Also bad. Don't eat your wife.
Don't fully consume your wife. Ow.
Oh, my daughter was born how? From my forehead.
Me. Today's public service announcement is, don't check your watch for ovulation.
Unless you have a watch that does ovulation tracking. Today's PSA, don't silently do something on a podcast that's an audio only. That the audience can't see.
Remember, it's an audio only format. And this has been June 20th. Public service announcement. Yeah. Thank you, dear listener schmissioners, for tuning in to this episode of Fandom Shmandom. If you'd like to discuss this episode or any other episode we've done, please hit us up on our social media channels. You can find us on TikTok and on Instagram at Fandom Shmandom Pod.
Please don't forget to rate and review us if you liked the episode. It really helps us with the algorithm, placing us in other like-minded commissioners out there. And don't forget that we now have a Patreon as well. Patreon.com/CW/Fandom Shmandom. And with that, we're out, y'all.
Don't forget to tip your herdsmen.
And fare thee well.
Fandom Shmandom was created by Sam Williams and Sierra Obermark. The show is produced and edited by Aurelia Lieb. The music is by Jeremiah Alves.
We've got Penelope and her dilemma. So, Polenta? Ptolemy. Placenta. Odysseus' wife, Placenta. Pygmy. So, Odysseus' wife, Pygmy, Placenta, Penelope. None of that. Yeah, that can go in bloopers earlier. But
Run that back, Aurelio.
but Penelope. All right, here we go. Take 5. Let's try that again. What is it actually called?
Yeah, 1 second. Sorry, everybody.
Sorry to Aurelia. This is not making it.
No, I know.
Everybody is just Aurelia. You are everybody now. They'll love that. Cool.
We were not even close. All right.
At least the next one's Argos. I know how to pronounce that.
Yeah, I know that one.
They're super pregnable. Turns out, by the Trojan horse. They are impregnable as Liz. Fucking shit. All right, I'm gonna restart a little bit about the pregnancy part of this. Unpregnable?
Unimpregnable. Being impregnable
is to be pregnant.
To
unimpregnable. Yeah. You can't take the walls.
Cannot pregnate them.
It's called Trojans for a reason. Anyways.